In this story, we are introduced to Anna, the last woman on Earth. The opening scene reveals a city, once vibrant, now completely devastated by nuclear radiation. Streets lie abandoned, buildings stand hollow, and not a single sign of life stirs within the ashen landscape. Among the few survivors left, small groups scavenge cautiously, gathering food and seeking shelter to protect themselves from the ever-present deadly radiation. Anna, covered head to toe in protective gear, is one of these survivors. Driven by determination and survival instincts, she navigates the ruins, collecting food and essential supplies. Her resilience and resourcefulness set her apart as she forges onward, driven by a glimmer of hope that keeps her going. After her search in the city, Anna sets out for a place she holds dear, a hidden valley untouched by the nuclear fallout. This valley is special. It's one of the last places on Earth where the air is pure, free from radiation, and safe to breathe. As she reaches the valley, Anna feels the weight of her isolation fade. Here, amidst the gentle breeze and the untouched greenery of her family's land, she removes her protective helmet and suit, allowing herself a rare moment of peace. This valley, a cherished remnant of her past, becomes her refuge, a sanctuary where she can remember a time before the world changed forever. After returning home from her supply trip in the city, Anna immediately begins the meticulous process of decontaminating herself, scrubbing every inch of her skin and gear to ensure no trace of radiation remains. The next morning, she heads out with her dog to check the traps she set for hunting, hoping for fresh food. But when she reaches the trap, she finds it empty. Suddenly, her dog perks up, ears twitching as he catches a faint sound. He takes off toward the noise, and Anna quickly follows, curious and cautious. Before long, she spots something unexpected: a car parked near the edge of the valley, and a man, covered head to toe in a protective suit, standing beside it. She watches as he carefully checks the air quality with a small instrument. When the device indicates the air is safe, he removes his helmet, relief evident on his face, and breathes deeply. Realizing he's in a radiation-free area, he's overcome with joy and heads to a nearby waterfall, stripping down to wash away the dust of his journey. Seeing him, Anna hurries forward and calls out, "Get out of there!" Her warning startles him, and he spins around, frozen as he notices the pistol aimed at him. She explains urgently, "That water flows from the contaminated city. It's radioactive." Alarmed, he rushes out of the water and stumbles back to his car, where he fumbles for a dose of radiation medication. Shaken and panicked, he's unable to steady his hands enough to inject himself. Seeing this, Anna steps forward, takes the syringe, and administers the dose for him. She then brings him back to her cabin, where she helps him wash away any remaining contamination with her purified supplies. Despite their efforts, the man, whose name she learns is John, soon shows signs of radiation sickness, his condition worsening rapidly. Committed to helping, Anna takes on the role of caregiver, tirelessly tending to his symptoms and offering quiet words of encouragement. As days pass, her constant care begins to pay off, and John's health gradually improves. One day, Anna pulls out her old family photo album and shows it to John, sharing a glimpse of her past. She points to her father, explaining that he too died from radiation exposure. Her voice softens as she talks about her brother, who left for the city one day to gather supplies and never returned. "I don't know if he's alive or not," she says, her voice tinged with lingering hope and sadness. Listening to her story, John feels a deep sympathy for Anna, recognizing her pain as he remembers his own losses. The following day, while Anna is tending to her crops, John approaches her and mentions, "I noticed you have a tractor. You could use that to help with the farming." Anna shakes her head, explaining that the tractor is out of fuel. John thinks for a moment and then says, "There's an old gas station nearby. Fuel might still be available there." She hesitates, pointing out, "There's no one there to help with the fuel." John smiles and says, "You could go and pump it yourself." Realizing she hadn't considered this, Anna is surprised. That evening over dinner, she thanks John, appreciating his reminder and feeling hopeful about making her work a little easier. One evening, John shares a part of his story with Anna. "I used to live alone in a bunker," he begins. "Days would pass without a single thought or idea. One day I decided I couldn't stay confined any longer. I built a special car, designed a protective suit, and set out to search for places free of radiation. That's how I found my way here." He tells her that he was once an engineer, and as they share more, a warm friendship begins to form between them. One day, Anna's generator malfunctions, and John, eager to help, offers to take a look. Despite his best efforts, he can't repair it. Thinking creatively, he suggests a new idea as they walk near the waterfall. "We could build a large water wheel here," he says. "The flow of the waterfall would turn it, generating power. Anna is intrigued, but they would need a lot of wood to make it work. John mentions the nearby church, built entirely of wood. If we dismantle it, he says, we'll have enough material. Anna, however, shakes her head firmly. My father was the preacher here, she explains, emotion evident in her voice. This church is all I have left of him. My faith has been my support through everything. Respecting her feelings, John lets the idea go. All right, he says, I'll try again with the generator. Later, John heads to an old supermarket and finds a few bottles of liquor. That night, as they sit together sharing a drink, Anna becomes noticeably intoxicated. In her inebriated state, she turns to John and says, I want to marry you. John, taken aback, gently responds, this isn't the right time. We have responsibilities, a lot of work to do if we want to survive. He explains that becoming too close might interfere with their shared mission of survival. After a pause, Anna nods in agreement, understanding his perspective. The next day, Anna's dog suddenly bolts off in one direction, catching her attention. She follows him and finds him stopped near a man who looks exhausted and parched. Introducing himself as Caleb, the man weakly asks for water. Anna, concerned, leads him back to her home to help him. As they approach, John catches sight of Caleb and immediately raises his gun, suspicious of the stranger. Anna quickly steps in, saying, he's not here to harm us. He just needs water. Reluctantly, John lowers his weapon and they offer Caleb some water. Grateful, Caleb explains his story. I was hiding in a nearby cave with some friends, but the radiation reached us there too. They didn't make it, but I managed to escape and found myself here. He pauses, looking between them. Would it be all right if I stayed here for a few days? John, cautious, agrees, but insists Caleb stay outside the house. Anna, however, allows Caleb to stay inside, sensing his genuine desperation. As they all sit down to eat later, Caleb turns to John and asks, how did you end up here? John replies, I was searching for a place without radiation. Along the way, I saw a boy trying to steal my food. When I got closer, I saw he was barely holding on. I left him there and made my way here. Anna shows Caleb to a room where he can rest, but John isn't happy about it. Later, he pulls her aside and says, there's no need to get too close to him. You don't know who he really is or why he's here. Surprised by John's suspicion, Anna responds, are you doubting me? You never even told me about that boy you mentioned before, the one affected by radiation that you met when you first arrived. John looks down, hesitating. Maybe it's because the truth is hard to hear, he says softly. Anna, feeling frustrated, replies, I've lost so much. My father died from radiation. My brother disappeared. I've been through a lot and have become strong enough to face anything. Finally, John takes a deep breath and says, the boy I told you about, the one who tried to steal my food, he was very sick, so desperate that he begged me to end his suffering. I had no choice but to help him find peace. He pauses, looking at Anna with sadness in his eyes. That boy was your brother. I didn't know at first, but I realized after seeing his photo. Anna feels a wave of grief and shock, her heart heavy with the news. John, filled with regret, apologizes deeply. Understanding the situation now, Anna forgives him, though the sorrow lingers. The next day, hoping to keep their minds occupied, John and Caleb set out on a hunt together. After a long search, they managed to bring down an ostrich, and they return to the house with their catch, grateful for the food they'll share in the days to come. That evening, as they sit down for dinner, John brings up the idea of building a water wheel to restore electricity. We need to set up a wheel by the waterfall. It's the only way to bring back power, he says, hoping to convince everyone. Anna responds, you can go ahead with the plan if you think it will work. However, Caleb, reluctant to dismantle the church, objects. That church is our only place for prayer, he argues. We should try to find another way to get the wood. Despite his reluctance, they all know there aren't any other nearby sources of wood, and reluctantly, they agree to begin dismantling the church the next day. As they work, Anna and Caleb find themselves growing closer, enjoying each other's company and sharing laughter as they labor side by side. John notices the easy rapport developing between them, and a pang of jealousy stirs in his heart. Watching Anna and Caleb together, John can't hide his discomfort, and he grows increasingly unhappy with the closeness forming between them. That night, when Anna approaches John, he tells her coldly, you can spend time with whoever you want. It's your life. His words sting, and Anna doesn't take them well. Are you questioning my loyalty? She responds, frustrated. There's nothing between Caleb and me. The next day, after hours of hard work, they complete half of the water wheel. Pleased with their progress, they decide to celebrate. That evening, they share a few drinks and then head to the lake to relax. Once there, they come up with a playful game. John throws an empty bottle into the lake and challenges, whoever finds it first wins. He dives in, but comes up empty-handed. Next, Anna takes her turn. When she surfaces, she claims, "I found it, but it slipped from my hand." Caleb laughs, not quite believing her, and offers, "Then let me come with you, and we'll find it together." Watching them dive back into the water, sharing smiles and laughter, John's jealousy flares. His frustration and envy continue to grow as he watches their playful chemistry. When they finally return to shore, John pulls Anna aside, his emotions getting the best of him. "Anna," he says, "I need you to know, I love you. Back then, I didn't accept your feelings because I thought it wasn't the right time. But now, I realize just how much I care about you." After returning home that night, Anna and John go to her room, feeling drawn to one another. But John, having had too much to drink, quickly falls asleep. Anna tries to rouse him, but he's deeply out, his eyes remaining closed. Disappointed, Anna leaves and heads to Caleb's room, where the chemistry between them sparks and the two share an intimate connection that night. The next morning at breakfast, as Anna sits down, Caleb enters and touches her shoulder in a way that catches John's attention. Suspicious, John notices a subtle shift in their behavior. Something feels different, though he chooses not to say anything for the moment. Later that day, as they wrap up the final steps in building the water wheel, John and Caleb walk back together. John says, "Thanks for being here. Since you arrived, Anna and I have found our way back to each other." But Caleb sees through him, sensing the unspoken tension. He replies, "You're not very good at hiding the truth, John. You'd rather I never came here at all." John, caught off guard, remains silent and walks away, leaving Caleb behind, aware of the unspoken rivalry between them. With the wheel fully built, they secure it beneath the waterfall. However, the final adjustments still need to be made, so Caleb volunteers to go down to finish the work. Because the waterfall is radioactive, he suits up in a heavy protective outfit, prepared for the difficult task. After he completes the adjustments, Caleb starts to climb back up using a rope. Partway up, his foot slips, causing him to dangle precariously. John grabs hold of the rope, determined to pull him to safety. As Caleb hangs there, he glances up at John and is met with an intense stare. In John's eyes, Caleb senses a mix of anger and resentment. For a tense moment, they lock eyes, Caleb seeing what he believes to be hostility beneath John's calm exterior. Eventually, John hauls him up, but the unease lingers between them. Back at the house, Anna approaches John, apologizing softly. She admits that she made a mistake the previous night, blaming the excess wine for her actions, and clarifies that, despite everything, she doesn't feel love for him. John looks at Anna and says calmly, "It's fine. Caleb has left, taking my suit with him. He wants to search for other survivors." But Anna feels a pang of doubt. Something in John's tone makes her uneasy, so she quickly runs outside, scanning the area for any sign of Caleb. But he's nowhere to be seen, and suspicion begins to cloud her mind. She can't shake the feeling that John may have done something to him. Days pass, and the house finally receives electricity, thanks to the water wheel's structure beneath the waterfall. Yet despite this achievement, Anna feels hollow. Her heart has grown distant, her trust in John shattered. One day, while tending to the garden, she notices the old piano from the church has been brought outside. She sits down and begins to play, letting the melancholy notes echo her troubled thoughts. John quietly joins her, sitting on a nearby bench, listening as she plays. Her sadness is evident, and when she finally looks at him, her eyes reveal a painful understanding. The truth has settled within her. Whatever love or admiration she once felt for him has dissolved entirely. John senses her emotions clearly. Though he removed Caleb from their lives, it's clear that he's lost something precious. He may have succeeded in eliminating his rival, but he's painfully aware that he's lost Anna's love in the process. As he sits there, defeated, he realizes that true love belongs to those with kindness in their hearts. And by letting jealousy consume him, he has driven Anna away. And so, the story concludes with John sitting alone, his victory empty, as he realizes that love cannot be forced or won through control. We hope you enjoyed this tale of love, loss, and the cost of envy.